Have things quieted down for you? Are you ready to
Things
start?
are good. Yeah.
Good deal.
Okay, we're ready. We're live.
We welcome you to a virtual field trip to a pig farm. Thank you very much to all the classes that have joined with us, and we've also got some classes that are watching along live. I'm Jennifer Keller. I work with the Ohio Pork Council. Also on the line, we've got Emily Bennett, and she'll be doing our tech support today. We very much appreciate that. We've got Mrs. Hoops' 4th grade class from Patrick Henry. We've got Ms. Sweet's 5th grade class at St. Mary's in Edgerton, joined by Ms. Adkins' 4th grade class. And we've also got Ms. Ott's 5th grade class from National Trail Middle School, and I believe she's brought in the entire 5th grade. So we're very appreciative of all of those groups joining us. And then we've got a group, Lighty, I'm not sure how you would say the last name. Miss Lighty is joining live. So thank you to everyone for your efforts to join in this Google virtual field trip to a pig farm via Google Hangouts. At this time, I would like to introduce the person that we all came to see, a featured guest and our farmer, Lauren Schwab. Thank
Hi.
you for coming, Lauren.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. The goal of today is just to show where food comes from and to help answer any questions that people have. So do you want to begin just by introducing yourself and telling us where you are at and what you've been doing today?
Yeah. Well, like she said, my name is Lauren, and can you hear me okay? Just to get started. Can you hear me okay? All right. All right. I work for my dad on our family farm. It's just north of Cincinnati, and here I take care of the mothers and their piglets. So I went to college at Miami University, but I love farming so much that I wanted to stay working for my dad. This morning was pretty much a typical day. I got up and I took care of some of the pregnant mothers on our farm. We have around 850 mother pigs, and they're called sows. And I fed them, and many of them are in group pens according to their size, their age, and their due date. Then I went into the farrowing house. Farrowing is the word for when a mother gives birth to her piglets. So where all the piglets are born. And I fed them, and I took care of looking at each and every piglet. And I'll give you a view of my piglets now and tell you a little more about how our farm got started. Hold on.
Great.
Okay. So here they are. They're with their mother sleeping, and they have their own individual pen with their mother. See, when my dad started our farm in the 1970s, they were all raised outside. But you can see these guys are really little. They were born March 8th, so they're very young. And when they used to be raised outside, they used to be exposed to the weather, like the really hot summer days or the really cold winter days. And so we moved them inside so we could take better care of them. And they get to lay here comfortably with their mother and nurse off of her. You can see a lot of them are sleeping. And so it's my responsibility every day to take care of them. You can see they have a heat lamp, and this helps keep them warm. It's not like a regular light bulb. It actually brings heat down, and they can stay nice and warm. And as the pigs get older, I'll throw down some feed. Their feed is made of corn and soybean meal. That's what the mom eats, and they'll learn to eat. So these guys are starting to get a little bigger, and you'll see there's little feet on the mat. They will lay on a mat to keep them comfortable. And the way the pen is, the mother's in the center, so it helps keep her in the middle of the pen so they can nurse on her, and it protects the piglets because this mother is probably close to 400 pounds. And when the piglets are born, they're only 2 to 3 pounds. And up to 3 weeks old, they get to be around 15 to 20 pounds. And so that's how long they're with their mother. And then when they're too big to keep nursing off their mother and they have to eat regular food like the corn and soybeans, they go to another farmer about an hour away from here in Wilmington, and that farmer raises them until they're around 6 months old and around 280 pounds, so they grow really fast, a lot faster than us, and until they're ready to go to the market. And the reason we take care of just the mothers and the piglets here is because they need very special care that's different from the older pigs. So that's basically what I do. And right now, you can see they're very comfortable. This little guy's sleeping. But that's what I've been doing. I make sure I look at each and every pig every single day. And it's just my dad and my brother and I and my brother's girlfriend. Just the 4 of us taking care of all these pigs.
Great.
So
that's pretty neat to get to see the pigs. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Do you want to share a little bit about why you chose to be a farmer, Lauren?
Yeah. I chose to be a farmer just because I really like the animals. I love caring for them. I love knowing that they depend on me, and because I'm here, they get the best care possible. They're really fun to be around, and I just really appreciate them. And I enjoy also working with our family. Really closely. I get to see my dad and my brother every single day, and I know he loves seeing me. And that's one of the things about farming is being able to work together with your family and pass it on to the next generation. So my dad is actually a first-generation farmer. He just loves pigs so much, and especially the piglets. And I grew up doing it my whole life. I even took some pigs to the county fair. And I just enjoyed it so much I decided to stay. And it actually only less than 2% of the population in America are farmers anymore. So it's really important to take care of the animals and the land so we can keep passing it on to every generation and feed everyone. And I also love talking about it. I was actually the past Ohio pork queen, and I love talking to people about agriculture. So.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome.
We saw the pigs starting to move, and we were hoping to see them get a snack or get up and play a little bit.
I know, they're getting all sleepy now. Here's another one. Where I'm at right now, there's 36 mothers. I can move to a pen across me if you'd like, where they're playing. Here you go, he goes running. But yeah, I can show you a few more of the pigs. Oh, but to tell you a little more about how important it is for them to be in here too is I can make sure that they're eating enough food every day. The mother pig needs about at least 5 pounds of feed for herself and about another pound for every piglet. So she's eating between 16 to 20 pounds of feed a day. That's a lot. And it's really important for her to eat all that feed so that she continues to provide enough milk. He's coming up to the camera. To provide enough milk for her piglets. He's curious. See, he's got some gray spots on him. They're a little bluish, and we call him a blue butt. So there's different colored pigs, just like how we all look different. So they all look different too. And hold on, I think he's curious about the camera.
Yeah. So you've done a great job just sharing about your day and how you became a farmer. We really appreciate that. Do you have anything else you want to share before we begin with questions from some of the classes?
Yeah, I can show you a little more what their feed looks like. And this little guy.
Great. And while
I'll try to move slowly.
that'd be great.
See here she has her own individual feeder, so she doesn't have to share it with anyone else. And this is a new special type of feeder that we got where we can put lots of the corn and soybean meal, and my dad grinds this himself. We get our corn and soybeans from local farmers. It'll go into big feed bins, and he'll grind it up with a machine called a grinder, and then he'll empty it into a feed bin in all the different barns. We have a lot of barns because our farm has grown over time. And there she has enough for the day, and there's a little switch on the inside. Try to move slowly. You can see where she can flip it back and forth, and it'll let feed down.
Great.
So,
do you want to run your hands through that feed or pick a handful up so we can see what it looks like a little more, please?
yeah. Try to move slowly. But see, you can see it's really fine and ground, so it's easy for her to eat. And it's really, besides the corn and soybeans, there are special vitamins and minerals in this feed, and also a lot of protein to help her milk. We have a veterinarian and a swine nutritionist. The swine is another word for pigs. A nutritionist that works to figure out exactly what they should eat, how much they need, exactly what should be in it. So their nutrition is one of the most important things about taking care of their piglets. So
great.
Yeah.
I brought a feed sample too. This is funny. The camera is picking up. The feed looks different on camera than it does in real life. But so this is the same thing. The sample that Lauren was just showing, and it's made up of corn. So if you see, corn would be the real tall plants that you see growing in fields in the summer, and then it's also made of soybeans. So soybeans are waist high earlier in the summer, and then like knee high earlier in the summer and waist high later in the summer. So those are the two main crops that we grow in Ohio, and we use them to feed livestock like pigs. Thank you for sharing that, Lauren.
You're welcome. I can move and see if we can find some other piglets in the barn. Hold on a minute.
That sounds great.
See if any of them are playing. You can see. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. You can see these are a lot bigger. Oh, they're all running around. They're scared. These are a lot bigger. And by next week, they should be about old enough to go to the other farmer. They're curious.
And will the pens look different that they live in at the other farm?
Yeah. In the other farm, there'll be really large group pens, and they'll have their own feeder, and they'll have as much feed as they want, like this, that they can eat all day. They also have an automatic waterer. The mother has an automatic waterer in here, too. I'll try to be slow and show you. Let me see if I can see. If I press on this, it lets water out for her. She'll drink on it like a drinking fountain, like you would. And she has fresh water all day long.
Can you show us that in the center or top of the screen, please? There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
yeah,
no, thank you. Can you explain it again?
Yeah. See, it lets water out like that, just like a drinking fountain. And she can drink from it whenever she wants. I think she's going to get up and drink some. Maybe. She's drinking from it from the bottom. And they all have a water like that they can see fresh water. Besides the feed, having fresh water is the most important thing.
Now,
And
in the pens that we saw here, Lauren, we see just some bars. What are those, please? What's the purpose of them?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you said?
Sure. Like in these pictures, we can see the pigs are around some bars. Can you explain what those are, what the purpose is, please?
Yeah, the purpose is to keep the mother in the center of the pen, and the piglets can run around her off to the side on their heat lamp, but it's to protect the piglets, and because the mother is so big, I'll go in and see her. See, she's really big, and it's to prevent her from accidentally rolling over on the little piglets if she doesn't see them. And so she's there in the middle, and she's got her feed and water in front of her at all times, and those piglets will stay right with her.
Okay, thank you. Shall we begin with some of the questions from the classes? One of the questions is, how many pigs do you have?
We have around 850 mothers, pigs, and around 40 to 45 of them every single week give birth to piglets. So there's around 400 piglets born every single week, maybe a little more than that. They all have between 10 to 12 piglets. And so it's one of my jobs is to make sure that all those piglets are getting milk. So it's hard to say exactly how many pigs I have because the number's changing all the time. But yeah, around 850 mothers, and we raise around 400 new piglets every single week.
You answered the next question. How many pigs do you get out of one litter?
Yeah. Well, I can tell a little more. One thing, when the pigs are born, I make sure they all have between 10 to 12 pigs. So one mother, she may only have 5 piglets or so, and then I've seen another mother have 20 piglets before. And so the neat thing about the pigs is they'll take on any piglet. Oh, I think someone's crying. Okay, they stopped. They'll take on any piglet. It doesn't have to be their own. So we can put 10 to 12 piglets on every single mother, and they can all get enough milk. And if there's a runt pig, you've heard of the little runt on the litter, we can put all the little runts together on one mom so they don't have to try to get milk if the big pigs crowd them out of the way. So
that's another question we get a lot. You're going right through the questions. That's great. Here's one. What happens if you pull hard on a pig's tail?
Well, if you pull hard on a pig's tail, they may not like you very much. They may want you to stop. But they like to play a lot. You can see the pigs are really curious. So pigs actually aren't mean. They like to play. So I spend time with the piglets in the barn, and they'll chew on your boot if you let them. So you can see them playing with each other.
Yep. That's neat to get to see them interacting with each other. Mm-hmm. How heavy can a pig get?
Well, it depends on how old it gets. These piglets, they'll get to almost 300 pounds just within 6 months. So that's really big. And the mothers, they can get up to 4 or 5 years old. A pig gets a lot older faster than us. And they can get between 400 to even 600 pounds, depending on how old she is and how many litters she's had. If she's had a lot of piglets, she may get bigger.
Great. I have a few more questions, and then I see some hands raised in classes. So let's wrap up these questions and then see if the group still have time to stay on the line after we get through a few more. here's one that you spend a lot of time with. It says, how long does it take for a piglet to be born?
Oh, that's a good question. So what's surprising is every morning when I walk into some of these barns, there'll be new pigs that weren't there the day before. So the mothers will give birth fairly quickly and usually all by themselves, and I won't need to be there. They'll probably, within a couple of hours, she can have a litter of pigs. And if she takes longer, I'll just be in there to check on her and make sure she's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Two questions that are fairly similar. One is, what is the mixture of food that they eat? So you've kind of shown us that, but maybe you can share again. And then the other one is it healthy for pigs to eat people food?
What was the last part of that?
Is it healthy for pigs to eat people food?
Oh, that's a good question. No, it's actually better that they eat their own food because their bodies are designed for the corns and the soybean meal, the plants, to give them the protein and all the nutrition they need. And so our food is different and may not give them all the nutrition that they need, and then they can't raise their piglets as well. But that's a good question.
And then there's a couple other questions, I guess, two more about what kinds of food pigs eat and what is the mixture of the foods. So do you mind showing us again, please?
Oh, yeah, I can show that again. Hold on a minute, and I'll go to that feeder.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think you can see again, it's the corn and the soybean meal, like Jennifer showed some, and see this is all ground up. And so that's the special food they eat. And they eat this, we feed them at least twice a day, but these special feeders can hold enough for the whole day, so we'll just check on her and make sure that she gets up and she eats all of her feed.
Neat. And then how much food do the piglets need?
Oh, that's a good question. The piglets, when they're growing, they just need their mother's milk. And she provides enough milk and nutrition for them to grow until they're around 15 to 20 pounds at 3 weeks old. And then they'll go, when they go to the other farmer, that they'll eat as much as they please because they'll gain a lot of weight just within a short period of time. So when they go to the other farmer, they need unlimited food.
Here's a question. It says, how do you control pigs? And I think that means, like, how do you move them if you need to get them to move or do something different?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, the mothers are oinking at me. When we need them to move, what we use is we'll have some either wooden or plastic type of boards. There may be one at the other end of the barn. I could show you in a minute. But we'll just set them up down the aisles, and then we'll take her out of her pen, and she'll walk all on her own, and we'll just guide her using the boards to get her to where we want to go. So after these piglets are big enough to stop nursing from their mom and go to the other farm, we'll take her out of this pen, and we'll put her on the trailer, and she'll go into another barn where later on she'll become pregnant again. So they raise a lot of piglets. And one thing that's really important to do is when they leave the pen is to keep it clean. So every week I'll use what we call a pressure washer to clean this pen for a new mother who is pregnant and due to have her piglets to come in and give birth. So it's really important to keep everything clean just so we keep the pigs healthy.
Great. Well, Lauren, we really appreciate the time that you've shared today showing us in the barn. We have just shared the list of questions that were submitted to us ahead of time. We'd like to encourage everyone to visit ohiopork.org for more resources. And Lauren also has a YouTube and Facebook page, I believe. And what's that called?
I do. It's farmgirlwithcurls.com. And if you go to YouTube, you can type in Farm Girl with Curls. That's CURLS, because I have curly hair. You can't. and a lot of times the pigtails are curly too.
There you go. Well, we really appreciate everyone's time, and we understand that some people might need to go. And if you're still available, Lauren, and if other classrooms are available, we'll be glad to take questions live right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. I've seen a hand up in Ms. Sweet's class the longest. Do you have somebody that wants to come up to the camera and ask a question? The question is, Lauren, do you have any boy pigs?
Oh, could you repeat the question for me, Jennifer?
The question is, do you have any boy pigs? They're submitting them on our group chat.
Oh, yes, we do have boy pigs. Well, a lot of these piglets are boys and girls. And then in another barn, we have some of the bigger boy pigs, like the same size as the mothers. But there's not as many of them because the piglets just need their mother to be with while they're growing, since she provides their milk.
Okay. Can we take a question from Mrs. Hoop's class, please? And then we'll rotate through. We'll go to Mrs. Ott's next.
Do you have to milk any of the pigs yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. No, we don't. They provide all the milk. All the piglets have to do is drink off of her, and they have plenty of milk, so we don't have to milk them. That's a good question, because we do have a few cows out in our field. I wish I could show you them, but we have had to bottle feed a calf before. So, but not the pigs. They're different from cows.
Mrs. Ott, does your group have a question live, please? We've got, it looks like you're muted. Can we unmute Mrs. Ott's class? Thank you. All right.
I wanted to show you this piglet. It's on top of his mom.
One of the questions from Mrs. Sweet's class, that is neat to see, is have you ever raised other farm animals, and if so, how did it compare to raising pigs?
Oh, well, we do have a few cows, but they're just out in the field to eat the grass. And it's a lot different from raising pigs, because the pigs need a lot of specialized care and attention while they're growing. And they really need to stay indoors in the barns because they don't have as much hair, and they're not as big as cows. So they really need to be in the barns, and that's what's really different about the pigs.
It looks like Mrs. Ott's group had a question to ask live, so they just submitted in the chat that they'd like to try that again. So we'll see if we can hear.
I don't think I can hear.
I'm not hearing anything either. So we'll check back with them. It looks like we've got another question from Mrs. Hoop's class.
Hi, and what kind of health regulations do you have to take?
Oh, that's a good question. Every pig farmer, we have to go through what they call a pork quality assurance program. So where we need to take a test to make sure we know how to properly take care of animals. We know all about the pigs, what kind of food they need, what kind of care and attention they need, what kind of barns they need to be in. And then we have a veterinarian that comes and he walks through our farm and he inspects it and he makes sure that that we have the right buildings, that they're all clean and ready for the pigs to be taken care of. So that's really important for every farmer to go through to receive that certification.
Thank you, Lauren. We've been on
You're
the
welcome.
line about a half an hour here, and I would encourage, there's a video that we made with Lauren on her farm several years ago when she was the Ohio Pork Queen, and that's on the Ohio Pork YouTube channel. So we would certainly invite those of you that want to see more around Lauren and her family's farm to take a look at that channel. It looks like we have a few more questions if you've still got time, Lauren.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, great, thank you. So the question from Miss Sweet's group earlier was, have you experienced a sow falling on a piglet?
A pig what on a piglet? Sorry.
Have you experienced a sow falling on a piglet?
Oh, falling on a piglet. I have been in the barn before, and there was a mother laying down, and she didn't see her piglet, but the piglet got out of the way as the mother was laying down, since she took her time, since she's in the center of the pen. So they were perfectly fine, and that's the reason we have the pens the way they are, so that the mothers don't fall on the piglets.
Okay. Another question is from Mrs. Ott's class. If the mother pig does not give birth to any piglets, what will they do with the mother and why?
Oh, that's good. If a mother is, if we bred a mother and we thought she was going to give birth, but she didn't have a piglet, or maybe she only had a couple, we'll find piglets from another mother that aren't getting enough milk. Maybe that mother has too many, or maybe that mother can't produce as much milk, and we'll put pigs on her. So we'll still keep the mother and let her raise piglets. They just might not be her own.
Okay. Another question from the same class, and then we'll take some from where the hands are raised. This is coming in from our group chat. Do you need to keep the barn quiet so the pigs don't get scared?
I'm sorry, do I need to keep the barn what?
Quiet so the pigs don't get scared.
Oh, quiet. Well, there's no noise in the barns besides the pigs themselves, so the pigs don't get scared, but as you can probably hear in the background, they do squeal a lot, especially when they're nursing from their mother, but they're used to hearing each other's oinks. And sometimes in the summer, there will be fans in the barns running to keep the pigs cooled off, but they actually don't mind the noise at all. They don't get scared.
Great. One more. Do you wash the pigs? And then we'll go live for real with the camera. Do you wash the pigs?
Oh, wash the pigs? No, I actually don't have to wash the pigs because they're in the barns now. They stay really clean. As you can see, there's a slatted floor, so if they have to go to the bathroom, it goes through the slats, and their pen stays really clean, and I don't have to wash them. When my dad used to raise them outside, they were a lot dirtier.
All right. Thank you. How about a question from Mrs. Hoops' class? And then we'll go to St. Mary's next.
How do you clean the pigs? And where does the manure go?
I think he said, how do you clean the pigs and where does the manure go?
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on just a moment. I'll get some other pigs. Well, like I showed you just a minute ago, if they have to go to the bathroom, it goes through these slats, and the pee and the manure, and so their pen stays clean. And then come spring, my dad has a big tank where he'll empty out what's underneath their pens. And we have a farmer nearby that grows the corn and soybeans. And when the time is right, we'll use that manure on the field as the natural fertilizer for the plants. So it'll end up going on the fields when the weather is right. But until then, it's underneath the pens to keep them clean.
All right. How about a question from St. Mary's?
What breeds of pigs do you have?
Could you repeat that for me, Jennifer?
Sure. What breeds of pigs do you have?
Oh, breeds? Okay, most of them are Yorkshire breeds. You can see that they're a whitish pink color with pointy ears. Some of them have different dads. That's why some of them have the gray spots, the blue butts. But most of them are Yorkshires, and that's the best for their mothering ability for the moms. So.
Okay. And then a question from National Trails coming in via chat is, what is the most piglets that a sow has had at one time?
I love sharing this. I've seen a mother have at least 22 piglets before. A lot of pigs. And so she couldn't raise them all herself, but I remember another mother not having as many, and so we were able to take the extra ones from her, about 8 of her pigs, and put on another mother. So they all got milk, and they all grew up.
Thank you. It looks like we have some hands back at St. Mary's. Is there another question there, please?
We do. He's coming up right now.
Do you name your pigs, and if you do, what are their names?
Oh, we don't name our pigs because there's so many, and a lot of them look alike that I can't keep track of them. But that's a good question because all the mothers, they have an ear tag. Let me see if I can get a close-up shot of them. All the mothers, hold on. Let me see. See, she has an ear tag with the number on it. And so that identifies her, and we can keep track of her. And so we know her age, depending on that ear tag, and we know how many pigs that she's had. And next time she gets pregnant, we'll know when she's due to have her piglets. So that's how we keep track of them, since they don't have names.
Great. We've got a couple more questions via chat. These are some good ones. Do you butcher the pork on your farm, and then is your meat sold in the U.S. or to other countries?
No, none of the pigs from our farm are used right away for meat. When they go to the other farmer, we wait until they grow up and they're the proper size to go to the market in Indiana. So we just have all the mothers and the piglets here. And then the pork from that market in Indiana is shipped to grocery stores all over the country and to other countries. I actually got to go to Japan last year to see the farms there, and I saw our pork from the same market our pigs go to in Japan. So we're feeding people all over the world.
Wow. Wow. Well, great. If the groups are willing and willing to stay on the line, which we appreciate everyone's time, I see some more hands. So we'll continue to take some questions. How about Mrs. Hoops's class?
Have you ever had a pet pig run around your house?
I haven't had a pet pig that I kept, but I did keep some of these piglets before and took them to our county fair where I showed them with other people showing pigs. And I was judged based on how healthy my pig was and how well I showed him. And so I kept those pigs a lot longer.
All right. How about back to Miss Sweet's class?
Have to be so little? So you don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Yeah, probably just to conserve space. I mean, there's only so much room that they have available. Nate, what's your
Does
question?
Mrs. Sweet's group have a question?
Did they cover that? How is the lifespan of a pig?
How about, I see some hands at St. Mary's. We can take a question up to the camera if someone has one.
How long do pigs live?
How long does it take what, please?
How long do pigs live?
Oh, how long do pigs live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. The mother pigs, well, piglets, they get big really fast, and they live about 6 months, half a year. And the mothers, though, they live a lot longer because they keep giving birth to more piglets, and they start getting old around 4 to 5 years of age. Their lifespan is a lot quicker than us.
All right. Well, we are right at 40 minutes, and we thank you, everyone who has taken the time to participate. We're grateful to all of the classrooms, and we are especially grateful to you, Lauren, for the time that you've taken to answer questions and to show what's going on inside of your barns.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you joined me, and I loved all your questions. And thank you so much for visiting my pig farm today.
Great. Should we give Lauren a round of applause? Really?
Thank you.
Everybody's clapping, even if you can't hear. All right. Well, thank you all for your time, and we hope that you have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks so much.